right, NFL.com released their list of top quarterbacks worth pursuing this offseason. And the list included draft prospects and also current quarterbacks who could hit free agency. Tua Tagovailoa came in at number 1, followed by Dak Prescott and Heisman winner Joe Burrow. Teddy Bridgewater came in at 4, while Tom Brady grabbed the 5th spot. So, Shannon, do you agree with these rankings?
I do, Skip, and I want to start with Tua versus Burrow.
Okay.
Skip, I think Tua is better because I've seen it over a longer period of time. Skip, I'm really leery, and that's not to say that Joe Burrow won't be a great NFL quarterback. Obviously, it has a lot to do with where he goes, but take that out of the equation. I'm really leery of guys doing it for 1 year. We saw Achilles Smith. We've seen guys, Skip, have those 1 years, and then all of a sudden they get drafted really, really high, and then you're like, well, what happened? It's normally the guy, for the most part, Skip, it's normally the guys that's put it together for a couple of years. I've seen Tua do it. Yeah, he got blown out in the national championship game against Clemson, but that's regular season. He was unbelievable. I saw what he was doing this year before he got hurt. Now, if you want to say the injury history, you know, he had the ankle injury, had another ankle injury, he had the hip injury. If you want to say injuries, okay, but just ability. His ability to throw the ball with the accuracy and the velocity and the touch that he has, Skip, is second to none. Burrow can't touch that. Now, moving on down the line, Dak. It's just hard for me to believe. I think Dak is will be 26, or maybe he'll be 27 his birthday. But Skip, I'm not investing in Brady when I got a 26, 27-year-old. Now, if Brady was 36, 35, 36, Skip, we having a different argument. But he's not. He's about to be 43 at the start of the season. So I'm taking Dak. Yes, absolutely. And so with that, for me, Skip, I just don't believe that Brady's going to be the commodity that you think he is. Yes, some people go, like, well, I believe we're a quarterback away. Let's take it. But he's 43. And if you could honestly, because even when we were just talking about Dak,
yeah,
he always went back. He's been to 9 Super Bowls. He's won 6. If you can just evaluate him on a season to season, we're not talking about what he's done. He did that. He earned those, no question. If you evaluate Tom Brady, what you saw this year, he's not the same. And everybody knows it, but they just can't get past it. It's the same argument you have with Jordan. When LeBron or some other player does something, but Jordan was 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVP. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this. We're talking about right here, right now, moving forward.
But wait a second. On LeBron, when you say he's the GOAT, and you're saying MJ was 6-0 with 6 MVPs, and you're saying we're not talking about that. Yeah, we are.
No. I'm talking about LeBron. I'm saying LeBron James. I say LeBron had an unbelievable game against the Nuggets. You go back to when he fell, but 2011 was the worst by a superstar. They got nothing to do with that.
Well, it does, too, when we're talking about LeBron in the bigger picture.
We're talking about LeBron. We're talking about LeBron in the small picture.
This list. Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
All right,
okay, I love David Carr, and this is his list.
Sure.
He's really good on TV. I enjoy watching him, listening to him, and he knows a whole lot about football. But I got to tell you, this list is ASA 9, ASA 10, ASA 11, and ASA 12, which is Tom Brady's number, because Tom Brady should be number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on this list, because we have Michael Jordan at the end of his prime on the free agent market. We've never had this before in the history of this league. It's a win-now league. If I can get Tom Brady for this year and next year for 2 years, I got chances to win Super Bowls that nobody ahead of him in this list is going to give you. I'm sorry. Let's go back to Tua. Number 1 target, says David Carr, is Tua. Well, David Carr is living proof of why that's a fallacious argument, because David Carr once upon a time went number 1 overall in the 2002 draft.
Yes.
And how good was he, Mr. Sharp? He was not very good.
Skip, now
he was with a bad football team, and they couldn't protect him.
And they got to beat him down.
And so he went 23-56 as a starter. But again, do I think he was an all-time great player who got in a bad spot? No, I think he was just a pretty good quarterback who was in a very bad situation. So his touchdowns, interceptions ended up 59-65 in those years he started, and then he hung on as a backup, and he had an okay career. But he wasn't the #1 overall pick in that draft. Joey Harrington went 3rd in that draft, and he was just a flat-out bust.
Yes.
Okay? So every year, we see big swings and big misses in this draft, which brings me to the draft of just a couple of years back. I was bullish on Baker Mayfield. He had a bad year last year, and so am I quite as bullish? Not really. You love Sam Darnold. Are you bullish on him? Do you think he's going to be a superstar? No, you're not, because he's not that guy. And that brings us to Josh Allen. A lot of people liked him, and maybe he's going to turn out pretty to very good. And that brings us to the other Josh named Rosen. And I dug in before the draft. I said, no, he can't play in the league, and I don't think he can play in the league.
But Skip, also in the draft that you mentioned was Lamar Jackson.
That was my next point. If you let me finish my point, there's one guy who went clear down at the bottom of the round, and wait a second, he looks like he's by far the best quarterback. So you can't evaluate these kid quarterbacks. Tua, okay, to me, Joe Burrow is much better than Tua. Like, it's not even close to me. And I realize I got to see only one great year of Joe Burrow because his first year at LSU was not great.
Okay.
And then Joe Brady comes from the Saints, and they revamped the whole offense.
Did Joe Brady going to Cincinnati?
No, but I saw Joe Burrow make throw after big-time throw, and trust me, his velocity is at least as strong as Tua.
No way.
Because Tua does not have a big arm. He's a soft armor. I'm sorry he does not have a cannon.
No.
I will give you accuracy. I will not give you velocity.
No, Skip. He doesn't have Michael Vick type arm.
Okay. You know what he's got? He's Michael Vick's height. They listed him at 6'1". He might be 6 feet.
Yeah, I was thinking
and he's got good feet. I'll give you that. But Joe Burrow can flat out get out of the pocket and run with the football at 6 feet, 4 inches tall, a former all-star basketball player in the state of Ohio, and he plays like a basketball player. And you want to talk about deadly accurate? Whew! Yeah. Give me Joe Burrow. And again, I look at Tua. What did he have to throw to? You love Jerry Jeudy. You think he's the best receiver in the draft.
Whoa, hold on.
Wait, no, I'm talking. You interrupt me constantly because I'm going to just back you deeper into the corner. I'm looking at Henry Ruggs is going to be a first-round pick along with Jerry Jeudy. I'm looking at Devontae Smith was the leading receiver, and he's going back to Alabama. And I look at Jalen Waddle. I don't know how high he'll go when he comes out, but he might be a second-round pick. You're throwing to that track team of receivers, and you're telling me that he's a slam dunk #1 overall pick better than Joe Burrow? I don't know about that. And by the way, Tua's left tackle is going to be, I don't know, 5th or 6th.
He was a right tackle.
Okay.
Willis.
Yeah, but he's going to be a left tackle.
Yes, he is.
You watch. Okay. Wills. So that brings me to my man, Dak Prescott. You're saying right here, right now, that he is #2 on this list is a target ahead of Tom Brady. And what's the last line from David Carr in this breakdown? Prescott showed a lot of consistency throughout 2019 and proved he can be clutch when he needs to be. Wrong, double wrong, triple wrong, quadruple wrong. He did not. I have always defended him on his clutch factor until last year. Again and again, including the game at Philadelphia, did he not have Tavon wide open for a touchdown? Did he not overthrow him by 5 yards? I can't defend that. So just stop it with that. So then what did David Carr say when he got to Teddy Bridgewater? He's got Teddy Bridgewater ahead of Tom Brady. Let that go in your head.
That one stuck out to me.
Teddy Bridgewater, this is just straight Brady hate now because Teddy Bridgewater has played in a grand total, Mr. Sharp, of 1 playoff game. And he played okay in that game because it was outside in your town. It was outside and it was like below 0.
Yeah, it was cold.
Right? The wind chill was like -30 or something like that.
You don't play football outside.
You know what? He game managed pretty well in that game, and it was the Blair Witch Project game, Blair Walsh, and he missed the field goal and they lost the game.
Never been the same.
Okay, so he's 0-1 in his 1 playoff game, for better or for worse. Okay, so Tom Brady, let's see, he's played in 9 Super Bowls, and Teddy Bridgewater's played in 1.
You see what you did, Jimmy?
Okay, no, but if you want the experience, do you want it?
No.
Yeah.
Evaluating last year moving forward.
Okay, let's read what David Carr said about Tom Brady, because this isn't consistent with the 5th target on this list. Let's read it, okay?
Sure.
Here it goes. Brady is coming off one of his worst statistical seasons in some time, but it's hard to knock the guy when you look at what he was working with. Boom, thank you. Brady still has all the intangibles. That's because of 9 Super Bowls. From his leadership skills to his knowledge of defense, because he's won 6 Super Bowls.
Oh, you added that.
Okay, I'm reading. He has limited mobility. We've known that since his Combine 40, but is still a great pocket passer and gets the ball out extremely fast. Yes, yes, yes. With a solid supporting cast around him, Brady could make most teams automatic contenders. Okay, so wait a second. Tom Brady's going to turn any team into an automatic contender if you have just a reasonable team around him.
Okay.
And he's 5th on the... Wait, 2 plus 2 equals 12.
Whoa.
What?
The thing that we love Tom Brady for, he took the guy from Dorchester and he went to Super Bowl. So now he's the same guy. Skip Bayless tells me he's the same guy, but now he needs more of a supporting cast. If he's the guy what you said he is, why couldn't he do less? Tom Brady did less with less this year than anybody, because anybody could have did exactly what he did.
Okay, so he didn't have 3 guys from Dorchester. He had as his #1 receiver and his only receiver who could quote-unquote separate, Julian Edelman.
Hall of Famer.
Well, no, you laughed at that. No, you laughed at
Super
it.
Bowl MVP.
Wait, you scoffed at that.
Yeah, I told you.
Okay, Julian Edelman, a broken-down 33-year-old receiver who needed shoulder surgery right after the season, led the league in drop passes. That's all you had. That's your #1 receiver.
Yeah, Tom Brady
really?
throwing him into them car crashes on the most ball. Yeah, the quick quarterback.
The most accurate thrower of the football ever, Tom Brady.
No, stop it.
Oh, start it.
Drew Brees is the most accurate.
Oh, stop it. Are you kidding? How many Super Bowls has Drew Brees?
But Skip, so now we base accuracy on Super Bowls. I thought accuracy is based on